process for him.
Joe, how close can the running game look to what it should be even without 24?
Yeah, you can't replace 24, but I have a lot of faith in Ford and Pierre, and we brought Kareem back. Deshaun does a lot of running as well. So there's some aspects that we can add into it and do things. And he's a great player, but I think you saw Ford, the explosiveness that he has. You see Kareem, he seems like he's come back in great shape and he's ready to run and work. So I think we have pieces that we can try and put together a puzzle that can look similar to what we did with Nick.
Does it feel like there's just more pressure and responsibility everybody else now without Nick, right? The coaches, like the play calls probably have to be better. You guys, he's not going to save the offensive line if you miss a block, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to step up, football, the worst part about it, injuries. And so you have a guy go down like that, we're trying to pick up that slack. But you don't want to do too much. Sometimes you catch yourself doing too much and you don't do enough. You know what I mean? You get a little out of control. So for us, a lot of it's doing your job to your best ability. And we have the right guys back there that can make the plays for us.
Joel, Deshaun was saying that one of the problems so far has been just kind of not being on the same page with everybody, coaches, line, receivers, etc. Is that kind of normal at the beginning of the year, especially given that you guys had to, replace your right tackle, had some other changes, guys out during training camp, etc.?
Yeah, it's part of the process of getting the right offense, out there. You lose a guy like Jack, who's very good at communicating, really understands his job. You bring a rookie in who's fighting his butt off and doing everything he can and learning the playbook. But Jack brings 8 years of experience, the position. So that's one guy. And then you see Nick go down, and I think last game there was just a little bit of we panicked a little bit. You throw a pick early, and you press on the gate. At one point, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, we're winning this game, and it feels like we're not. You know what I mean? And so there was just a little bit of panic. And I think we learned from that. I think everybody comes in and takes a deep breath and realizes, like, hey, our defense is playing really well right now. Like, gives us a chance on offense to figure out what we need to figure out and do what we need to do.
Simmons, is he one of the more disruptive linemen you guys have faced this year?
Yeah, very good. I mean, I feel like now every week I'm like, where are these 3 techs coming from? You know what I mean? Like, they're everywhere. It used to be the DN, and now the 3 techs are taking over. But no, their whole line is really good. But he leads the way. Autry comes in and plays and 3 technique. They move around. They have a lot of games. But he does a lot of good things. I mean, he gets to run, he gets to pass. He's physical. They do a lot of good things, and we got to have our A game to compete with their front. I think it's the strength of their team for sure.
Joel, do you see a little of the Steelers in their defensive scheme?
Yeah. The first 3 weeks for us, base defense has been semi-similar. A lot of them run the 3 down with 2 outside linebackers. 325. They run a little bit more jam than the Steelers maybe, but it's a lot of similarities. And then when they get into their pass rush group, they run a lot of games. They have a lot of movements. But yeah, some similarities for sure.
With him, it looked like when I was watching, he goes back and forth from your side to wide.
Yes.
Is there any rhyme or reason to that?
No, I think they want him to play the 3 technique in base. You know what I mean? So sometimes he has to flip sides. But in sub, I think they move around. I think that's one of their positive things too, is they're so versatile. Like I said, Autry can play inside or out. He can play. Even last game, he was like standing up on the center a couple times. He can stand up over the guard. He's gone out to the edge in like 4-minute situations and played the big end. So they just have so much versatility. They can kind of move guys around, and it helps them so you can't really key on one guy.
We got to see how fast Jerome was on that long run against Monday night.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've seen in practice over the last couple of years?
I knew he was fast, but I hadn't ever seen him like break away like that in a game situation. So he was moving. He was flying, and it was impressive to see. Like, I knew speed was one of his like high attributes, but no, it was cool to see him break away, and hopefully we get a few more of those.
The similarity between defenses, like you just mentioned, help in the process in preparation between weeks.
Yeah. When you go from a 3 down to a 4 down, we pretty much went against a 4 down all training camp when we were playing against our defense. But especially in our division, like Pittsburgh, Ravens, Cincinnati, they all run kind of similar base defenses. So it helps when you stay in the same kind of ballpark.
Go ahead. Is there anything you can or do say to Jed after a play like that strip sack?
Yeah, it's tough. But you talk to him and you say, obviously he like lost the count or something like that. It wasn't like he got beat clean in that sense. It was just a little bit late off the ball. Against those two guys, you can't be, laid off the ball. But I tell him to keep his head up. I'm like, we have a long season. We have, even in the game, it's like we have a chance to go down there and win. And the thing about him is he cares so much. It hurt him. You know what I mean? Like he cares. He wants to win. And so it definitely mattered to him. But I think for him, it's like, hey, we got 15 more of these games. Like we're not going to let that happen again, and we're going to go and improve from it. But it's like everybody else. Like we all just want to be a little bit better so we can, pull those wins out.
Is it just a reminder that every play matters, right? That it can't be, you get off the ball late one time and it winds up back in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's football. You look back on most games, and most games are decided by in that sense, one play. But a lot of times it's like 5 to 8 plays a game, and you don't know what plays those are. So you always have to be, locked in.
To help it, kind of off of that it's a shortish week. I mean, kind of like last year when you guys, similar situation coming off a week 2 loss.
Yeah, no, we're back at it. We had one less day to think about it, so we're back in here working. It's already Thursday, and I think the guys have a good mindset this week, though. We understood what happened, but we're going to learn from that, and we're moving on to Tennessee, and we know we have a big challenge for them. If you think about it too much, you're going to let it turn into more than one loss. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That'll be it for today.